Jimmy Olsen is DC Comics' most underwritten character until now. Check out my review of Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen by Matt Fraction, Steve Leeper, and Nathan Fairbairn.
Live from a fallout shelter somewhere under Seattle, Washington, it's the show you've been waiting for. Get ready to join your hosts, John and Kenric, as they talk comics, movies, and more. Now here's Spoiler Country!
Alright, welcome back to Spoiler Country. I'm Kenric, and that is Mr. Horsley. And today on the show, well, it's something, you know what? We've never actually talked about an Amazon Prime show.
Have we? No, we didn't. No, I mean, I wrote a... No, it was a Star show. Yeah, no, we never have.
No.
We talked about the Tick a little bit with Kevin
that's
Joseph.
right. That's right. You totally just blew me out of the water.
Yeah,
we did
talked about the Tick.
which they canceled.
Did they?
Yep. The Tick is no more, which sucks because the second season was so good.
I haven't watched the second season yet at all.
Oh, I thought it was good. But we're here to talk about The Boys, and then we might segue into Stranger Things, but we won't do a full episode on Stranger Things until you've watched everything about it.
Yeah, but I've watched all of The Boys now, so we won't talk about that.
You've watched The Boys, and
I keep wanting to say "The Boys,"
The Burst,
like The Burst, watching The Burst.
But
funny side story before we get into this real quick, just because I did when Tegan, my daughter, was first born, and Jesse lived with us before. Kitty's cousin, your nephew, you know that, but they don't know that.
It's irrelevant, but yeah,
right, whatever. Well, he nicknamed Tegan "Da Teagues."
Da Teagues.
Right. So for a long time we'd go, "It's Da Teagues."
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Da Teagues.
All right, so now to The Boys. This had nothing to do with The Boys, but now we're on to it.
So The Boys was a comic book that came out in the early 2000s, mid like 2005, somewhere around there. You
can actually hear Sumner gush about it on one of our interviews. A conversation with him. I think one of the ones at the bar. He just goes on about how I have to read The Boys and how it's an amazing series.
It is a really good series. I got the omnibus. I think it's the omnibus. I got not the omnibus. I got like the first couple volumes.
Nice.
Through Comixology.
Yeah, me too. I downloaded them last night so I can read them.
Yeah, they're good. It's actually really good. Simon Pegg is a part of it. As a matter of fact, one of the characters is drawn as Simon Pegg.
Isn't that Huey in the comics? Is drawn as Simon Pegg?
I think so. It's been a while since I read the comic books. I mean, it's been a legit a couple years.
Yeah, I was looking at it last night. I think it's Huey that gets. Huey's like one of the main characters of the show besides Billy Butcher. Yeah,
and he's the innocent protagonist.
Right, I think that's drawn like Simon Pegg, but Simon Pegg's in the show, but he does not play Huey. He plays Huey's dad.
Yeah. So the production value that Amazon dumped into this is stupendous.
What's really great about it though is it's like it has great production value, but there's not a ton of like ridiculous CGI effects. Like everything is done with really good costuming, really good set design, and really good lighting.
Here's the thing with The Boys. You know why The Boys is so good? Is because they're concentrating on character development. And they're concentrating on relationships between characters. And not relationship as in soppy teenage love drama, but real homegrown relationships that you have with people and how you interact with people. And then they have this component of people with superpowers. And the fact is, if you don't know the whole equation of what brings up The Boys is people with superpowers are real. They have corporations that support them, so they have TV commercials and movies, and
it's a business.
Yeah, they become a commodity. They become a business, but as huge fights ensue, when you're fighting supervillains, like when you read in the comic books and you see watching the Avengers, collateral damage has happened. But in the comic books, in that comic book they do, and in the Avengers they don't, and everything else. Innocent people are hurt
badly,
and that is one of the catalysts of the show is the fact that non-superpowered beings are being hurt, and they're acting like it's just collateral damage, and Sorry. And there's a group of guys that are sick of it.
Yeah, they don't like it, and they want to take things not matters in their own hands, but essentially matters into their own hands with the help of the CIA, because the CIA doesn't like the corporations owning basically policing of the world, or of the country at least. And it's an interesting take, because clearly there's the superhero group, the Seven, which is 100% modeled after the Justice League.
Yeah,
and I'm actually dreading the part of the conversation when we talk about Homelander, just because I already know in my head what you're going to say comparison-wise of him to Superman.
Yeah, he's not like Superman though.
But I mean, he is
persona
the Superman. In our argument about Superman, of Superman being a bully, that is the Superman you described.
That's a fair assessment, though,
and that's why I got so mad. Is because that's what you described.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's a comic book.
Don't you fucking pull that shit on me, dude. No. You don't get to pull that shit every time it's something you look, whatever, and then you get all super hyped over your shit. You don't pull that shit on me.
I just love it because it's a trigger. That's the only reason why I say it.
Well, but it's just a comic book. Why the fuck are we talking about this? Let's go to bed. I'm done. We're out. Fuck off.
Click.
Spoiler Country's over. Click.
But his TV persona, and when he's talking to audiences and whatever, is very much trying to be like Superman, but it's so over the top and so fake. And the guy does such a great job of being a creep.
Yeah. And it's so insincere, and it bleeds through as insincere. And they've got Queen Maeve, who's obviously your Wonder Woman character, who she's a very conflicted and is kind of given in to the way, very much how Wonder Woman does in Injustice, kind of gives in to Superman, right? And then they've got the Deep, which is Aquaman, but he's fish
Deep.
dick.
The Deep he's such a prick. But then
he is such a prick, but you feel bad for him. Yeah, he's such an asshole.
In the end, you feel bad for him, even though he's done this. He's done some horrible things.
Yeah, I legit hate feeling bad for him, and I hate him as a character. But at the end, I'm like, man.
Well, you only hate him because of one thing,
right? One thing he did. Yeah,
yeah, and it's bad. I mean, it's really bad that you would do that to somebody.
Yeah, and it's like. And then there's who's the other characters? There's Black Noir, who I think is funny because his name is Black, and he's Batman, I guess. But he doesn't talk or doing. He just kind of has knives and throws stuff. There's the Lanterner, or is that his name? He was like the Green Lantern character. They don't really show. They just talk about him a little bit.
Yeah. There's Translucent.
Yeah.
Translucent isn't even invisible.
Right? It means semi-transparent. But he wasn't. I guess I was reading. I haven't read it yet, but I guess he wasn't in the comics. In the comics, there was some alien who was supposed to be like Martian Manhunter, who was from Saturn in the comics. But I haven't read him yet. I just read that online.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember the Translucent. I mean, I read the books a couple years ago, but I don't remember. I don't know. I'm terrible about that kind of stuff. I guess I don't remember the storylines like this.
But I always forget the facts of the comics and read them until I'm actually talking about them. They all kind of come flooding back sometimes. So
yeah, the thing is I really liked it when I read it, but I've read so much since then, and I read more now than I ever did before. Like when I was a teenager, I could remember a lot of, or even a preteen and a teenager, I remember a lot of the storylines because I read the same book like 20 times.
Well, and at that time of your life, too, things are more impressionable and things stick into your brain. I can remember things when I was in high school as far as stories and things that are important to me, like No Tomorrow. But then, I watched a movie, last week, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I watched that. I don't know what the fuck it was about, though.
But the TV show stuck with me more. I mean, I'll be honest, it did. Yeah. It just did.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, so obviously, if you're hearing this, you're going to hear spoilers for the show. I'm going to talk spoilers, and so are we. I know it's in our name. I'm just giving you a heads up.
If you don't want to hear spoilers about The Boys TV show, just go away now and go watch all 8 episodes and come back.
Yeah, and in general, if you don't want to hear spoilers, why are you listening to Spoiler Country? I mean, let's just put that out there. Anyways, but I was reading online because I after I finished it, now not to jump ahead in our conversation about this, but the ending, I was like, what the fuck, right? And so I looked up online real quick. I was like, are they working on season 2? When does season 2 come out? And in that, I read an interview with Eric Kripke, who's the showrunner, who also is the creator of Supernatural.
Every time I hear Kripke, I always just think of The Big Bang Theory. But go ahead.
Right. So I was with him, and he was talking about some changes in the comic books. And I guess I haven't read the comics yet, but they're on my list to read. But what happens with the Deep is that he basically face raped Starlight, who's the new character of the Deep, or the Seven.
Face rape.
In the comics,
it's a weird way of saying it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, how else? I mean, he rapes her face. You know, he shoves his dick in her mouth.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Just he raped her is probably enough. It's just he face raped her. It's just like, wow.
I wanted to paint the proper picture. Okay.
Well, you painted a picture. That is for sure.
Yeah. But in the comics, it was Homelander, A-Train, and Translucent who raped her. They gang raped her in the comics. Is what I was reading.
Wow. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
Man, I should go back and read it. I don't remember that
what I
at
read.
all.
I was like, "What's that?"
I said, I should go back and reread it because I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. That's what I said there. And like they I guess Kripke was saying that he thought about pulling that completely out of the show because it's like it's pretty controversial to have, obviously rape in a show or rape in anything because rape's a horrible thing. But I guess he was talking with the writers' room and all the female writers were like, no, this is definitely part of Starlight's character. We need to have it represented in the show because it kind of shapes her to who she is by the end of the book, and it's part of it. So they end up rewriting it to be using the character of the Deep to kind of show how dumb he is overall. And like instead of making it a horrible gang rape, they made it just the face rape.
The face rape is so bad to me, man. I can't get over it. Like, forced fellatio or...
Look, I'm not trying to make light of rape at all, but it's
No. But it's just, I was like,
yeah.
Face rape, I don't know. It's just, it sounds...
Actually, when I say that, I just think of a face hugger from Aliens.
That's funny.
But yeah, so I mean, we watched. I think Kayla and I watched the show in a matter of 2 nights. We binged the first half. What
did she think of it?
Oh, she fucking loved it. Like she was actually mad at the ending of the show because she's like, no, there's no closure. What? I need more. She's like, when does the new one come out? Because this is not closure. This is not good enough. I need more of this show.
Yeah. Well, it'll be next summer.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously it's.
I think they've already announced a season 2, right?
Oh, they're already shooting it.
Yeah,
they're already shooting season 2 was announced before the show even aired.
Yeah, it's so good. I mean, and let's just say it now, Carl Urban,
oh man,
is so fucking good as Billy Butcher in this show. It is ridiculous.
He's good in everything.
Everything he does. Name one fucking movie that you watched him in that he sucked. He might be in a bad movie. Like Doom was not a good movie. But he was cool.
But he wasn't bad. Yeah. And like I think his Dredd movie is way underrated. I love his Dredd movie.
I love that movie. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
That is what
it's so
Dredd
good.
is supposed to be. They need to do another one.
Yeah, I love the fact that he left the mask on the whole time. Like part of the whole thing of Dredd.
Well, his face, he could just give you so much emotion just in his nose and his mouth. In that whole fucking movie, you're just like, God damn, he's a badass. Don't even step in his way. And then you watch him in Star Trek be Bones. And he's just hilarious, and he like pulls it off, and you don't think of him as a badass at all when you watch Star Trek.
And then he's Billy Butcher, and he's like super badass.
Yeah, and then you watch him Billy Butcher, and he's fucking insane, and you're just like, oh wow, this guy, he could do it all. I mean, I'd watch him fucking read the phone book.
I would too, and it's funny because he's from New Zealand, and he pulls off. I mean, I don't know what it is about actors from like New Zealand and England and other countries and stuff, but they seem to be able to pull off accents and like American accents way better than we can pull off, generally speaking, any other accent. Because he's played in this movie, he's in this show. He's English.
I think it's a number of attrition. There's fucking a billion American actors all living in Hollywood. And so you have a few, and the ones that make it from England or New Zealand are super special. So they can pull off those accents a lot easier. I don't know if they can pull it off easier. They're just, because there's certain people like in here, like I remember when Gwyneth Paltrow did Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah.
Her English accent, people were in love with it. I don't care what they say today. When that movie came out, that's all anybody talked about is how perfect her English accent was.
Oh, for sure. There are definitely American actors who can pull off that accent amazingly well. But like, if you think about the show, The Boys, right? Billy Butcher, Carl Urban, he's
I thought he was English.
An Englishman. No, he's from New Zealand. He's from Auckland.
I know. But I'm saying when I watched it, I thought he was.
Oh yeah,
it was so good because I hear him doing almost 90% of the time when you see Carl Urban, he's doing an American accent. And you think, but then when when he's doing his English accent on The Boys, it was so good in my mind that I thought he was British. And I was like, is he British? I mean, that's what things. And then I looked it up. I'm like, oh my God, he's from New Zealand.
Right. And like so much, that show had such an impression on me the last couple of days. I've been using the word cunt a lot more in casual conversation because he says it so much in that show.
Oh my God!
Like what I was saying,
you could do a drinking game with that show. Every time every time Billy Butcher says "cunt," you take a shot. You wouldn't make drunk. It halfway through. You'd be so done drunk. Halfway through an episode.
Right, especially the episode where they're at the Jesus retreat with Ezekiel, and he's just like fighting the guy over God about God's not real and calling him a cunt over and over again.
Oh yeah! Oh my God! It was so funny.
But what I was saying was, he's from New Zealand playing a British guy. The guy who plays Homelander is playing an American guy he's also from New Zealand. You have Simon Pegg, who's freaking Scottish, playing an American dad, and then you got Jack Quaid, who is American. He's playing an American, but you got Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan's kid playing Huey, which is it's just cool.
Yeah, yeah,
it's cool. It's
kind of weird overall. Though. I mean, so I don't know if this is maybe I'm just overthinking it, but I feel like there's a double standard.
Yeah,
like if there was a show that takes place in, England or New Zealand or Australia or something like that, and 90% of the actors are American using an accent, people would be in uproar.
They would be.
But then here we have a show where almost everybody's from a different country doing an American accent, and I mean, I don't really care either way. Fine. I don't care. I just wondered if the ether out there would be like freaking out.
Well, it's a huge double standard in the world right now, and it's more modern than anything else. But it's like if you're shooting something that has certain ethnicities or certain accents and stuff, they want you to get people from that dialect unless they're American. Yeah, unless they're white American, then it's okay to recast them and have whoever. Which again, I don't give a shit either way. I just want good stories and good whatever. And
yeah.
I do like proper representation of like actual people from wherever they're from doing it. But if there's somebody else who can do it just as good and be convincing, that's acting. I don't care.
Yeah,
The biggest part of acting is becoming
Johansson.
Yeah,
I know Scarlett Johansson has gotten a lot of guff for some of the roles that she's taken.
Right, but what's funny is like I get the shit people give her on one side, but also when she said, "I'm an actor, I want to just be able to take a role and play a role, no matter what the role is," I get that because that's acting. Acting is being able to take on any role, any person, anything, and bringing it to life in your own vision. It could be you playing a man, a woman,
That's
whatever.
The one that everybody had a problem with, right?
Well, no, there's a new one that she had to drop out of.
Yeah, where she plays a transvestite. Yeah. Or transsexual, or I don't. What's the proper saying? Transsexual. Yeah.
Transsexual. Yeah. Yeah, and it's I get why people want there to be proper representation of that in the movies, but I also get like, well, if they want to hire someone for the look or for their acting skills and they can pull it off, who fucking cares? But that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, it's more than my little brain can wrap its head around. Of
it's more than I want to talk about on this show.